What to do, YouTube? We back with another reaction. The dark reality. Man, what up, YouTube? It's your boy, ItsThe'lon, back with another reaction. The fuck? What up? ItsThe'lon. Alright. Dark reality of Hollywood, but no way. Hollywood, Hollywood, ha. The dark reality of Hollywood body transformations by the man, the myth, the legend, Patrick CC, the one and only. I don't really got much to say before this. Anyways, you gotta be a Pokemon, popcorn. Like, subscribe. Nah, you don't have to if you don't want to. I ain't gonna lie. Free top though. Anyways, lock in, get straight to it.
Some actors get dangerously skinny, others get suspiciously muscular. Some drank gallons of melted ice cream to gain weight quickly, whereas others were forced to take pills by producers before they were 18 years old. This is not standard acting protocol. These are actors who risked serious injury or death all for the sake of a role, and in some cases, the damage lasted the rest of their lives. Today we are looking at the dark side of Hollywood body transformations, starting with Tom Hanks, who's lucky he did not pass away while filming Castaway. In the film, Hanks plays the role of Chuck Noland, a FedEx executive whose plane crashes into the Pacific Ocean, leaving him stranded on an island for 4 years. At the time, Hanks's natural body weight was around 185 pounds, but his physical stature in real life would not accurately match the character he was portraying. So for the early scenes before the crash, where Chuck is still living a normal, comfortable life, Tom intentionally packed on nearly 50 pounds to reflect a man who eats all your favorite calorie-dense comfort foods like burgers, fries, and milkshakes. Gaining the weight was essential to make the body transformation even more dramatic, going from slightly overweight to dangerously underweight. After filming the first half of the movie, production shut down for an entire year so Hanks could lose the weight and come back looking like someone who'd been surviving off coconuts and fish. And this is where things got brutal. He went on an extreme diet, eating mostly vegetables, fish, and drinking water. Ain't nothing wrong with that though. No sugar, no refined carbs, no red meat, basically just enough food to keep him standing. To burn even more calories, he added daily cardio, running and swimming every day. By the time filming resumed, he looked like a completely different person. On top of the dangerous weight loss, Hanks got a small cut on his knee that seemed harmless at first until it got infected and turned into a serious problem. His body didn't have enough nutrients to fight it off. He said, "I got an infection from a cut and it was eating its way through my leg. I didn't know it, I just thought I had a sore." He ended up in the hospital for 3 days, and the film production was shut down for almost 3 weeks. But it gets worse. Years later, Tom revealed he had developed type 2 diabetes, and his doctors told him it was partially because of how often he had pushed his body to extreme lengths for roles, with Castaway being one of the worst. Even though the film earned him an Oscar nomination and is considered one of his best performances, it also may have left him with permanent health issues. And while Tom Hanks transformed while
I get in the end and all, you could say it's worth it for the movies, but I'm not risking my health for some movie role. I'm sorry.
While chasing an Oscar, 50 Cent risked his life for a film that nobody saw. No awards, no acclaim, just a brutal weight cut for a role that did not give him the credibility he was hoping for. But real quick, have you ever Googled your name and seen yourself on one of those strange sites that has way too much information about you? Feels pretty weird. If you ever was doing it, an automatic security VPN, it's ready. Not leaving myself vulnerable, things fall apart. He wrote it, financed it, starred in it, and most people have never heard of it. But during filming, he went through one of the most extreme physical transformations any actor has ever attempted. He played Dion Barnes, a top college football player who gets diagnosed with cancer. The character starts the movie healthy and muscular, then rapidly declines into a frail, sickly version of himself. And 50 decided to show that transformation for real. It wasn't just a creative decision, it was personal. Growing up, one of 50's closest friends died from cancer. He said that memory stuck with him, and if he was going to play someone going through that, he felt he had to get it right.
I had a friend of mine that died of cancer growing up. So it was exciting. And when I was making the physical transformation, I concentrated on how he actually looked to me.
His routine sounds simple, but it nearly killed him. Every day he ran on a treadmill for a total of 3 hours. When the fatigue set in, he'd slow to a walk, but he never stopped completely. Plus, he was doing this while barely eating anything of substance, just a liquid-only diet. No processed food, barely any calories, just protein shakes, coconut water, and unsweetened juice. With so few calories, his body burned through all the fat and most of his muscle, and the side effects were obvious. He looked unrecognizable. His cheeks were sunken in, his frame looked like skin and bones, and his eyes looked visibly exhausted. He later admitted he was constantly lightheaded and had to mentally force himself not to eat. I was starving. I would have to restrain myself. I had to discipline myself not to actually eat. When the transformation was complete, he had lost 54 pounds in just 9 weeks, dropping from 214 to 160, which may not sound extreme to some, but when you're naturally a big guy like 50 Cent, that kind of weight loss can be seriously dangerous. And although 50 took the role as seriously as anyone could, the film didn't do nearly as well as he hoped. It had a small budget and barely got distributed. After bouncing around a few film festivals, it eventually landed on BET a year later, but it received no awards and barely got any attention. And the craziest part about this was that nobody asked him to do it. The director didn't tell him to drop the weight, it wasn't in the script nor in the contract. 50 just wanted to prove to everyone that he could be a serious actor and dedicate the film to his late friend. It did not earn him the Hollywood credibility he was chasing, but it still stands as one of the most extreme body transformations any actor has ever done. People have used photos of this role to mock 50 or troll him because, out of context, it could look funny, but it's arguably one of the most impressive things he has done in his entire career. And while 50 Cent pushed himself by choice, Judy Garland was forced. Her breakout role demanded intense weight loss, grueling hours, and pills just to function, and what producers did to her was far darker than anyone could have imagined. Judy Garland was just 16 years old when she played Dorothy in the classic 1939 film, The Wizard of Oz. It became the most iconic role of her career, but behind the scenes, it was nothing like the wholesome movie people remember. MGM forced her to do things that would never be acceptable today. From the moment she was cast, the studio told her she did not look the part. Even though she was still a teenager, executives said she looked too mature and too heavy to play a young girl, so they put her on a brutal, restrictive diet that consisted of black coffee, chicken soup, lettuce, and cigarettes. No real meals and barely any calories. And that wasn't even the worst part.
Cigarettes? She was 16, y'all niggas had it said 80 cigarettes a day? Nah, bruh. Nah, bruh. 80 cigarettes? They all should have been arrested,
GM
bro.
gave the 16-year-old drugs to keep her working as many hours as possible, to keep her weight down.
The whole film studio should have been shut down.
Her energy up. They gave her what they called pep-up pills, which were just amphetamines. And since the pills kept her wired, they had to knock her out at night with barbiturates. She said, they'd give us pep-up pills to keep us on our feet long after we were exhausted. Then they'd take us to the studio hospital and knock us out with sleeping pills. On top of the pills and starvation, MGM modified her physical appearance. She wore a tight corset to flatten her chest, rubber discs in her nose to narrow its shape, and dental caps to fix her smile. The iconic Dorothy look was manufactured down to the smallest detail. Studio head Louis B. Mayer, one of the most powerful men in Hollywood at the time, would walk up behind her and place his hands on her chest to fix her posture. Judy later said she felt completely powerless. She couldn't speak out or push back because she knew her entire career would be over.
Not her.
Keep in mind, she was only 16 years old at the time. The Wizard of Oz became a massive hit that will be remembered for generations, and Judy's performance performance turned her into a star, but it came at a cost. The same pills that kept her working as a teenager became a lifelong addiction. Judy Garland tragically died of a barbiturate overdose at just 47 years old. If she never did The Wizard of Oz, she might have never become a Hollywood star. Then again, she probably would not have died so young. We've seen actors rapidly lose weight by basically eating nothing but air, and then there's Rob McElhenney, who ate a ton of ice cream to make himself look like a slob. Again, nobody asked Rob to do this. His inspiration came from watching the legendary sitcom Friends. As the seasons evolved, the entire cast seemed to level up, appearing better looking due to larger paychecks to consume healthier foods, afford dietitians, and the pressure to maintain Hollywood beauty standards. Rob thought it would be hilarious to have the opposite transformation as his show, It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, got more successful.
And I thought, I'd never seen a show in which the characters or the actors specifically tried to look worse as the show progressed. And I thought that if there was ever going to be a show in which that would make sense, then this would be it. So I embraced it. And I decided to look as terrible as possible. And gaining 50 pounds was a huge part of that.
Rob discovered the secret to gaining weight: drink as many calories as possible.
I would have my assistant in the morning go out and buy a gallon of ice cream, and he would put it out on the counter, and I wouldn't eat it until 4 o'clock in the afternoon because it would melt, and I would drink it.
You would drink melted ice cream?
Yeah, because you can drink that many calories a day, you can't eat that many calories, or at least I can't.
He started having chest pains, and his doctor begged him to stop attempting to gain weight. However, it paid off, because Fat Mac produced some of the funniest moments in It's Always Sunny history.
What is your confession?
I'm fat. Oh, what's up, bitch? I did it! I'm 200 pounds, I'm as big as my avatar. I'm healthier than you, bro?
No. Well, I wouldn't exactly say you're healthy. You have type 2 adult onset diabetes.
I mean, they're delicious. They're full of carbs, which is great for a pump, and they're cheap as
The best part about Fat Mac was the redemption arc, as he was able to use this as an opportunity to get ripped beyond belief and shock the whole crew.
Okay, everybody, are you ready? Bam! All right, what's up?
What's going on?
Oh, well, I got into really good shape.
I don't really know what's going on here, though.
You look like a baby.
Yeah,
like
so
a
just
toddler.
We're not gonna. Why did I do it?
Nobody knows.
We don't know.
Okay,
So
Put
you
my
have a
shirt
great
I
plan.
think that's best.
But
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Congrats, Mac. It looks really good.
good job.
Can we figure out?
Crazy thing is that Rob trained for months to get ripped just for a 2-minute joke.
That's
now
crazy,
that's
man.
dedication. In a weirder twist, when Chrissy Metz was cast as Kate in This Is Us, producers actually wanted her to stay heavier to reflect the character's ongoing struggles with weight. Now, it's no secret that Chrissy was already plus-sized in real life, but it shows what Hollywood producers might demand to bring their vision to the big screen.
They were like, we have to fit you for a fat suit. I was like, what? And I remember getting measured at the costume house, and
Why would she
they're
need
like,
a fat
it's gonna
suit?
be 109
No.
inches.
No offense, dead ass.
I'm like, oh, okay. They called it the couch. Like, that's what we ended up calling it on the shoot was, oh, here's Chrissy's couch, because it's basically couch cushions. There's a story that I literally got stuck in my trailer. We had a separate dressing tent because I couldn't go in and out of my trailer. So we had it on the stage or on location, wherever we were. And one day I forgot my phone, or I forgot something that was important. I ran back and I got stuck in the trailer. And I thought, who's gonna find me?
And this kind of begs the question if actors actually need to change their bodies. With CGI and a little bit of movie magic, anything is possible. And some actors straight up refuse to make a drastic change, like Robert Pattinson, who took a different path when preparing for The Batman. Robert deliberately avoided the intense bulking routines typical of superhero portrayals. In a 2020 interview with GQ, he said, "I think if you're working out all the time, you're a part of the problem. You set a precedent. No one was even doing this in the 70s. Even James Dean, he wasn't exactly ripped." This stance was clearly the opposite to previous Batman actors, but the thing is, Pattinson still had a great physique. He did some training, including bodyweight exercises, long-distance runs, and military-style sandbag workouts. By no means was he scrawny or out of shape. A lot of the feelings that Robert did not do enough come from the fact that Hollywood body standards have changed significantly. Because Tobey Maguire's body transformation for Spider-Man back in the day was being treated like he transformed into a world-class athlete.
What'd you do? You do special workout? Because when you finally turn into Spider-Man, you're muscular as hell. Well, how did that work? How do you get that size?
I worked out for 5 months, 6 days a week, up to 4 hours a day.
Damn! You eat more food when you do that?
Had a nutritionist, and I was eating 4 to 6 meals a day, lots of protein.
Back in 2002, Tobey Maguire built an impressive physique while preparing for his role as Spider-Man. But if you looked at him today with the exact same build, some people would say it doesn't even compare to other actors' dedication, because now actors are expected to look like bodybuilders when playing a superhero. And look, I'm not making any accusations out here, but there are tons of credible resources on the internet that suggest that some of your favorite actors are out here doing a little jabby jab to get that Terminator look they so desperately want. So when Robert Pattinson showed up in The Batman with a body that looked, well, naturally attainable, people wanted to criticize him. As a bodybuilder and steroid user, I find it pretty criminal how widespread the usage and denial of usage of PEDs is in Hollywood. It puts in a lot of effed up body image issues, and then they go on and do news stories about X, Y, or Z workout or diet or trendy fitness thing that helped them achieve their goals. Meanwhile, they'd be looking very different without the large amounts of PEDs they're using. Actors don't necessarily need to be jacked to play the role, because Batman is the world's greatest detective, and that alone is enough to tell his stories. Although if you put Robert Pattinson's body next to Tobey's from 2002, it's not that different, but one was called jacked while the other was criticized. It just goes to show what used to be impressive is now considered the bare minimum, and what used to be the bare minimum doesn't even make it past the audition. And while some questioned Pattinson's dedication, Christian Bale went so far for his role that it nearly killed him. When people talk about actors transforming their bodies to the extreme for a role, Christian Bale in The Machinist always comes up. In the 2004 film, Bale plays Trevor Resnick, a factory worker so plagued by guilt and paranoia that he hadn't slept in a year. Obviously, a guy like that would not look too healthy, so instead of relying on CGI or special effects, Bale decided he'd actually become that guy in real life. He dropped down to an insanely low 120 pounds, which is scary considering he's 6 foot tall. That's the kind of weight that would put most people in a hospital bed, not on a movie set. His diet wasn't just restrictive, it was borderline starvation. For months, he survived exactly on 1 can of tuna and 1 apple per day. No processed sugar, no real fat, basically zero nutrients. To keep hunger at bay, Bale smoked cigarettes constantly and chugged black coffee just to have enough energy to stay awake. He initially wanted to push it even further to around 100 pounds, but the producers had to step in because they thought he actually might die. He changed so drastically, it makes anyone else who lost weight for a role look like they did not even try. He lost all muscle mass, his skin became paper thin, and his bones stuck out in every scene. Bale later described it as feeling like his body did not even belong to him. He was so malnourished that he'd sometimes zone out and completely forget where he was while filming. Even basic tasks like standing up or walking up a flight of stairs became exhausting. He said, "When you're so skinny that you can hardly walk up a flight of stairs, you're like this being of pure thought. It's like you've abandoned your body." The drastic weight loss left Bale visibly emaciated. Immediately after filming wrapped, Bale faced another body transformation challenge. He had to rapidly bulk up to 220 pounds in just 6 months for his next role as Batman Begins. Although The Machinist wasn't a major success following its release, Bale's physical transformation turned it into a cult classic, earning him a reputation as one of Hollywood's most extreme method actors. And we all know that method actors are so incredibly dedicated to their roles that they can often go insane, even potentially losing their lives for their art. But if you want to hear more about that, check out this video.
Y'all can check out that video if you want to. Hi, Key. Oh, shit. Anyway, man. Hope y'all enjoy it. We out.